Hello everyone and welcome to a new reading vlog. It is currently the 1st of March, which means two things. Firstly, I want to say Dydd Gwyl Dewi Hapus I pawb ohonoch chi sydd yn gwylio sydd yn dod o Gymru. And for my English speaking viewers, I have just wished my fellow Welshies a happy St David's Day. On the 1st of March, we celebrate the patron saint of Wales, who is St David, as I just mentioned. And it's basically just a day to honour Wales and Welsh culture as a whole. I am wearing red, as you can see. I'm wearing Wales's football top. All of the kids in my school wore their red clothes as well, which was lovely. I was given flowers this morning by one of my youngest pupils, which honestly nearly had me in tears. She had picked some daffodils for me and yeah, it just melted my heart. And I have spent the majority of today cooking leek and potato soup and Welsh cakes with the kids as well. So I have had a pretty strange but very nice day. The older kids have been on a march as well throughout some of the local towns. They always do a march on St David's Day where they sing Welsh songs and just promote the Welsh language in general and just come together as a community to celebrate being Welsh. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go this time around because I teach the younger kids. I teach reception up to year 3, so that means the kids are between 4 and 8 years old, and yeah, today it was only the older kids that could go, which is why I decided to cook with mine. So yeah, it's been a very long day. It's why I look like an egg, because I have just plastered my hair to my face to make sure that obviously food hygiene standards were met, and yeah, I've just wanted my hair out my face basically. So that's what I've been doing today. And secondly, I want to say happy first day of Realmathon. I've probably put it in the title of this vlog somewhere or on the thumbnail, but we are in the month of March, which means that Realmathon is happening. If you don't know what Realmathon is, it is a month-long readathon happening across March, and it's hosted by Cassidy over at Covers with Cassidy. Now this year we have 4 teams. We have Team Time, Team Blood, Team Shadows and Team Creation, and you can read specific books to either gain points for your own team, or you can read books to take points away from your opposing teams. Now I have pledged myself to Team Shadows. As soon as I watched the announcement video, I was kind of drawn to that team, and even though it took me quite a while to actually cement my pledge, I have done it now. I am Team Shadows all the way, and I am so excited. I will of course have Cassidy's announcement video linked down below for you guys, so if you would like to learn more about this readathon, please do check that out. And I will also leave my Realmathon TBR linked up above and down below for you guys as well, just so that you can get an idea of what I plan on reading throughout the month. Now, as you can tell, I am vlogging. It feels weird actually because I haven't vlogged for such a long time. I really did need a break from constantly trying to film and produce content. Things have just been up in the air recently. Of course, Tom and I have bought our new house, which we are completely gutting and renovating. I have found out as well that I am no longer going to have a job in September because they are closing down our school, which is heartbreaking, and I've just really not been well health-wise, as you can probably tell from my voice again. So yeah, it's just been a load of rubbish things happening across these last few weeks, and that's not the energy that I want to be putting out there. I really don't want to film myself when I am experiencing those types of moments as well, because yes, I want to show you guys my real life and that is part of it, but when I'm just constantly stressed and not in a good headspace, like I just don't want to be filming. So I'm in a much better headspace, as you can tell by the fact that I'm vlogging, and I'm just so excited to be participating in Realmathon. This is my first time participating, which is very exciting. I've always known about it, and every year Realmathon happens and I feel left out, but that is just because of my own doing. I could have easily participated, but I think I was just scared to join, because whenever I think of joining a new readathon, I'm just so intimidated. However, Cassidy has explained this fantastically. We have some amazing hosts. The hosts for Team Shadows are Mel from Eleanor Reads and Lexie from Books with Lexie. I have been watching their channels for a while now. They create fantastic videos. They are both just lovely people in general, and if you guys like reading vlogs, TBRs and live reading sprints as well, and just all the bookish things, then you would definitely enjoy watching these two's videos. Now of course, with it being the start of the month, I just want to read every single book on my TBR immediately. However, I have kind of sectioned off my TBR, and as you can probably tell by the thumbnail, I have chosen 3 books that I specifically want to read for this first vlog. It's gonna be a fantasy romance themed vlog, which I'm so excited for. I have recently become a fantasy romance girly, and most of these books are recommendations from either the hosts or Cassidy, so I am very excited to be getting to all of them. The first book I plan on reading is one that I'm very embarrassed to say that I haven't read yet, and that one is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Now, you cannot become a fantasy romance girly without reading this book, so after this weekend I will hopefully have cemented my place amongst the fantasy girlies out there. I will have read my first Carissa Broadbent book, and I will have read one of her most popular books. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this one, you guys. I am so excited to read it. It's basically a book following a human girl who has been taken in by a vampire, and she has to compete in some sort of tournament in order to, I guess, prove herself to the other vampires and to prove to herself that she's more than just a human girl, essentially. I'm not going to read you the full synopsis, but the snippet at the top is what drew me in. It says, "The Hunger Games meets vampires in this heart-wrenching, epic fantasy romance of dark magic and bloodthirsty intrigue from best-selling author Carissa Broadbent." I absolutely love The Hunger Games. I love vampires, so combining both of these is sure to be a good time. I am reading this one mainly for the prompt to read a Cassidy favourite. This is one of her favourite books, so I am ticking the box there, but I'm guessing that it will also work for a bunch of other prompts as well. Now, I feel like once I've read each book, I will tell you guys which prompts I have used for these specific books and how many points these books are going to be worth for the total of my team points per book, so hopefully that makes sense, but because I don't quite know which prompts it could fit in for yet, I am just going to do that at the end. The second book that I'm going to be reading is not technically a fantasy romance, I don't think, but it is a Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal, and I can't believe it, I've just checked BookBeat now and I'm actually 25% of the way through. And just in case you guys don't believe me, here is proof for you. I cannot believe I've listened to that much, but I have a pretty long commute to and from work, and then I have just taken Kiwi for a walk as well, so I've obviously listened to a bit more whilst I have been on my walk today, and I'm a quarter of the way through. That is crazy to me. So this is one that's probably going to get finished this weekend. I honestly can't tell you too much about it though, because I feel like we're only just getting to the point where things are starting to pick up in the book. This is another book about vampires though, which was completely unintentional, but essentially we follow our main character Arthi, who runs a tea shop. However, it's also a kind of blood bank for vampires, and it just says on Goodreads, but when her establishment is threatened, Arthi is forced to strike an unlikely deal with an alluring adversary to save it, and she can't do the job alone. Calling upon a band of misfits, Arthi formulates a plan to infiltrate the dark and glittering vampire society known as the Ethereum, but not every member of her crew is on her side, and as the truth behind the heist unfolds, Arthi finds herself in the midst of a conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. Dark, action-packed and swoon-worthy, this is Hafsa Faisal better than ever. Now, I did have We Hunt the Flame by this author, but I never read it, and I don't know why. I recently did unhaul it though, because I came to terms with the fact that it sat on my shelves for a while and I just wasn't going to prioritise it anytime soon. Then this book was announced, now it's been released, and there's just so much hype surrounding it, and the prompt that I have specifically chosen this book for is to read a book that was featured in a host Realmathon video, and this is one that I saw in Tori from Tori Between Pages' March TBR video. Tori is another host, of course. She is the host of Team Time alongside Becca from Becca and the Books, and yeah, as I mentioned, I saw it in that video, so I did steal it because I saw that it was available on BookBeat and I did want to give it a go. As I mentioned, even though I'm a quarter of the way through already, not much has happened. We are basically up to the part where they are thinking of taking on this heist, and they are in the middle of trying to recruit their first, what would you call it, companion? That's definitely not the word, but that's the only one I can think of right now. So not much has happened so far. There is definitely a hint of a romance though, which I am intrigued to see where it's going to go. The fact that it also states that not everyone is on Arthi's side is very intriguing to me, so we'll see how that goes, but so far I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely an atmospheric book. It took me a while to actually get into it and for the audiobook to keep my interest. I feel like I was getting distracted quite easily at the start of this book, but now that I'm into it, now that the pace has picked up a little bit, I am definitely intrigued to see where the story goes from here. I told myself this was going to be a short update, guys, and yeah, it's definitely not, but I do have one more book I want to talk about. The final book that I would like to focus on in this vlog though is Blood and Steel by Helen Shearer. This is once again a fantasy romance. It was in Cassidy's TBR video and Mel's TBR video, so again this is one I am going to be using as a book that has been mentioned in a host Realmathon video. And once again I'm so excited because I really trust Cassidy and Mel with their recommendations, and if they're interested in a book then I am also going to be interested in it. The way they talked about this just had me wanting to pick it up as soon as possible, which is why I've prioritized it to read this weekend. Now I'm not going to read you the full synopsis now, I will tell you guys what it's about when I come to read it, but it just says that Blood and Steel is an epic romantic fantasy with enemies to lovers, yes, slow burn spice, found family, and a sprawling world of magic and monsters. Those are so many buzzwords for me. I am so excited. So I'm hoping that I can fly through the Serpent and the Wings of Night and then I can dive into Blood and Steel all in this weekend, which I don't know if that's feasible because I have a long day tomorrow at the house. Things have started to pick up again now, and yeah, I just need to be there essentially, and I need to complete odd little jobs which are going to be annoying and time consuming, but they're going to help me in the long run. I'm also planning on going to the gym. I was debating going to the gym tonight, but it's currently 20 to 8 at night. Cassidy is hosting the first Realmathon sprints at 8 o'clock I think it was, so I really do want to watch those and join and hopefully make some progress in my first book. So I don't know whether to go after. I would have gone straight after work, but the thing is, you guys, my gym is so busy. So for those of you who don't know, I do have gym classes with a PT that I do 3 times a week, but then I also have a gym membership to a Pure gym. Now the Pure gym is so busy, as I mentioned, because it's in the middle of a city. It is very student friendly, and so if you go after work, you're basically going to struggle to find anything to do because the place is packed. So you have to either go first thing in the morning or last thing at night. It is open 24 hours, but to be honest, who in their right mind goes to the gym in the middle of the morning? Like, I am not about that. So I will just check now actually to see how busy it is. Okay, there's 41 people in the gym right now, which isn't too bad. It's still pretty high, to be honest with you guys, especially because most of those will be on the weights, which is where I plan on going. But yeah, we'll see. I really do want to, because as I mentioned, I'm not sure if I can get there tomorrow, so I would like to have this session in because my PT has kind of written up this session specifically for me, and I meant to do it twice a week and I didn't do it last week at all, so I really need to get on that. But anyway, I'm rambling again. I will put Cassidy sprints on either way because why wouldn't I? I really want to join the first Realmathon sprints, and then if I'm still feeling like it, I may go to the gym later on. My issue as well, guys, is that because I've got this new kind of workout plan that I want to do, I'm not sure how to use some of the machines, and so I wanted Tom to come with me because I'm an independent girly when I want to be, but when I go to the gym, yeah, I'm just not. I'm not comfortable in trying out new machines that I'm not familiar with, and so I wanted Tom to be there with me, but he is feeling a little bit under the weather today and he has just gone on his Xbox, so I'm not sure that he will want to come with me, so that is definitely making me a little bit anxious to go as well. So yeah, we'll see. I need to put my big girl pants on though and just go, because I know once I get that I'll be fine. But yeah, it's just intimidating, isn't it? And it's a little bit daunting, so we'll see. But the plan for now is that I'm going to put my tea in the oven. I am having chicken Kievs tonight. I don't know what I'm having with it. I'd normally have vegetables like carrots and broccoli or something like that, and some vegetable rice. However, I'm just feeling like having noodles or something, so it might be a very beige plate tonight, but I feel like sometimes that's needed. I'm knackered. I want to carb up, especially if I'm going to do a weight session. It's going to be a leg session as well, so it's going to be heavy and I need to be fueled up. So yeah, I'm gonna put that on. Then I'm going to put on Cassidy sprints. I may put them on in the library, but I want to film a nice clip for you guys, and the library's a bit of a mess right now because I have been slowly trying to sort out my book collection. I've been bringing books down from the attic to sell and things like that, so I've got a lot of boxes just kind of lying about the place and a lot of stacks of books that I need to sort out what I'm doing with. So I don't really want to show you the library right now because I'm going to expose myself, but yeah, it's very cozy here and I won't get distracted by Tom, so we'll see. But I'm gonna stop talking, guys. I do this all the time. This is why I struggle with vlogging. It's because I just talk too much and then it gets boring. But I'm gonna go downstairs now. I'm gonna start this book. I don't know whether to read it physically or read it on my Kindle. I feel like it'll be easier to just read it on my Kindle, which is where I actually have the other fantasy romance book, which was Blood and Steel, wasn't it? I have it on here as well. So yeah, I don't know what to do. Let me know, do you guys prefer to read physical books books or Kindle books, because I have recently become a Kindle girly as well as a fantasy romance girly. I think I got it through Kindle Unlimited, and so I didn't have to pay for it technically. Girl math. But yeah, I think I may read it on my Kindle because it's just going to be more convenient, and Kiwi's probably going to want to sit on me, and if she does, it's very hard to read a physical book. So I think I'm going to do that, but when I update you, I might try and find the chapters physically just to kind of show you my progress as well, and we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to put tea on, get cozy, and I might film a little bit of the sprints. If any of you are curious about what my beige meal would look like, here it is. This honestly looks vile. I feel like this would be the type of meal that would get sent to Gordon Ramsay for him to just absolutely roast. But this is what I was feeling. So we have a chicken Kiev and we have chicken and mushroom pasta, which is just gonna hit the spot for me right now, and I'm going to very much enjoy it. Right guys, I've sat down to join Cassidy sprints. Kiwi has moved because I've been talking, but can we just appreciate how many people are waiting right now? There are 102 people waiting for these sprints to start. I can't believe it. This is so lovely to see so many people in the community coming together to take part in a readathon, and yeah, I'm so excited for these sprints to start and for me to read my first book.
I'm Cassidy. I read a lot of fantasy on my channel. Look guys, I'll even introduce my own channel.
Thank you for helping with us.
Actually Sunday morning. I was meant to update you guys yesterday, however I had the worst mental health day yesterday, and the thought of putting myself on camera didn't even cross my mind because there was no way that even came into consideration, and I just needed to take some time for myself. Now I will say we had a really busy day, so that was difficult. We were at the house throughout the majority of the day, to be honest with you guys, because the builder was there knocking a few walls down. We were also moving a door, so he wanted to know what we were doing with that. We also needed to think about what we were doing with the stairs and the old pantry that was under the stairs, because I'm planning on putting a toilet there and our washing machine and tumble dryer, but because of that it doesn't quite fit, so we need to figure out the spacing and stuff, which we've done thankfully, and it should be good. As well as that, I had a plasterer come round to have a look at the house and give us a quote. If you guys have seen the house, you will know the state that it's in. I will probably pop 1 or 2 pictures up on screen for you guys just so that you can see the extent of it. When I say we have gutted it. Again, I feel like that's an understatement. The whole house is just being pulled apart, which it definitely needs it, but yeah, that means that it's taking longer for us and it's more work in the long run and obviously more expensive. The plasterer is what I've been dreading. He was lovely, but I just know it's going to be such a big job and it's going to be an expensive job, and I haven't actually gotten a quote off him yet. He had a look around. We said we'd do quite a few bits, such as like putting blue grit on the walls and things like that, but then we also said we would sort out the ceilings and that we would kind of plasterboard the ceilings ourselves. However, after coming home and thinking about it, it's not going to be feasible, so I need to contact him again and try and sort that out and see basically if he can actually do that for us now, which again will cost a lot more money. So I had all of that going on. I also had my brother trying to ask me things that just I really didn't need. So yeah, it was just a lot. For those of you who don't know, my brother is a plumber. He works for the council, but he has basically been working with his dad as a plumber since he was like 16. So he does that as a job on the side, and yeah, when he can, bless him, he does come to the house. He is sorting all of the central heating out for us. He's also sorting out my bathroom, and that is definitely massively appreciated. But at the same time, I think sometimes you can have too many cooks in the kitchen, and I think that's what's happened, especially yesterday. I just had a lot of people throwing things at me and saying that I shouldn't do this, but I should do that, and it was just too much. And I feel like sometimes when things like that happen, you just need to take some time for yourself, because I know everyone's just trying to help. I know everyone has different opinions, but at the end of the day, it's up to me and Tom, and we're 20-something-year-olds with no experience in the building industry or anything like that. So we're trying to go with as many people as possible without kind of making anyone else feel unheard or whatever, you know. So it's a lot. You guys don't need to know this, but essentially that's why I didn't update you guys yesterday. I did take myself off to the gym very late at night as well. I think I got there at like 9:30 at night, because I just needed to get my mind off everything. I needed to move my body, and then I knew it would help me sleep better, because I'm like the most anxious person ever, and especially at night before I sleep I start to spiral. So I wanted something that would kind of help me combat that, which it definitely did. But I'm aching today. I did a new leg workout, which I didn't film because again, wasn't in the right headspace for that. I did take myself to the gym. Tom didn't come with me, and I figured it out by myself, so I'm super proud. But yeah, it was just a really long day, and I just felt like absolute crap, to be honest with you guys. But all of that to say that I do have a reading update for the Serpent on the Wings of Night. And the reason I'm in my kitchen, by the way, is that I've just finished meal prepping. It's in the oven, and I thought it would just be easier for me to film here, especially as a change of scene as well, because I feel like I always film in my library and you will just be seeing the same thing. So here's my kitchen. Ignore the Budweiser that you can see there, that's Tom's. But yes, I have made it up to chapter 27, which is page 213. So I'd say I'm about halfway. I could tell you specifically where I'm up to with my Kindle, because it gives me the percentage. However, that's in the lounge. Tom's on his Xbox on his headphones, so he is shouting away and whatever there. If you can hear him, I do apologize. So it's easier if I just update you with the book. And guys, I have to say that I am loving this one so far. Everything about this is just my type of vibe. I love that we have a strong-willed female main character that is in a compromising situation in a few different ways. As I mentioned previously, we follow Araya, who is the daughter of the king of the vampires in a sense, and he took her in when he found her in the ruins of an attack on Araya's village, and ever since then he has basically raised her as his daughter. However, they are in a court of vampires and almost everyone wants to kill her. So she is essentially living in fear her whole life. She is very strong though, and she tries not to show it. However, we do see how it does affect her as this book goes on, and I really like that. I love that vulnerability to it, because of course you're not just going to get thrown into this environment and be completely fine. And yeah, it's just very subtle things that she does that gives you an indication of what she's feeling and how distrustful she is of the vampires and how aware she is of her own mortality. Also, the fact that this world is awful. Humans are treated like absolute crap. There is no real law to protect them, and the vampires can just do what they want with them essentially. So they are also living in fear, and they don't have any way to live their lives to their fullest because they are constantly living in fear of the vampires. Now, my favorite element of this book so far, as you guys could have predicted, is the trials. They are so interesting. They are so deadly. I will say, guys, the first trial when the humans were involved and it was basically a massacre, oh my gosh, I was very, very close to tears because I won't spoil anything, don't worry, but something happens that really does affect our main character and again her view on the world, and oh my gosh, it was just heartbreaking to read because, as I mentioned, these vampires are brutal. They don't care about any of the people that they are hurting or draining, and it's just so horrible to read about, and to see it in a setting like this where Araya is also helpless and she can't do anything, it's just heartbreaking. But yeah, that was really effective. I feel like that was definitely something that spurred her on. And another element of this that I'm really enjoying is the introduction of our male main character, Rain. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I don't quite know how to pronounce it, but that is my best guess. He is definitely an interesting character, and again, I don't want to say too much about him, but he is a vampire that seems to be different to all the others. Now, it does kind of get revealed why this is, which I won't go into, but again, his backstory and the way that he looks at the world is really interesting compared to how other vampires act, and you can definitely see a more tender side of him, which he obviously has to keep hidden to an extent in order to continue on with this facade that he's a bit of a brute. The dynamic between Araya and Rain is just brilliant. I love their scenes together because they just bounce off of each other. We have Mish in here as well, who is another kind of side character who I really enjoy reading about. Her backstory as well is quite sad, but I'm hoping that we get to know even more about her as the book continues, or maybe even in the second book. But yeah, so far the trials are keeping me hooked. I love the relationship between all of our different characters, and Vincent as well, actually, who is Araya's father, is such a strange and interesting character because obviously he's like the king of the vampires. He essentially killed his entire family and anyone else that could overthrow him in order to take the throne in a way. So he's definitely not anyone to be messed with, and all the vampires fear and respect him. However, you see a different side to him when he's with Araya. The only thing I'm questioning is whether he has some sort of grand plan which involves Araya, and that may be the reason why he's so keen for her to be in the tournament, but we haven't really gotten a hint of that yet, so I'm not too sure. At this point in time though, I'm really enjoying it. I don't want to say too much more because I feel like I will go into spoiler territory, but yeah, this is such a good book. I'm so happy that this is one of my first books for Realmathon, and I can't wait to sit down today and read some more. And then on a bit of a sadder note, I have listened to more of A Tempest of Tea, and I have to say I'm just not enjoying this as much as I thought I would, guys. I don't know if I'm really enjoying it at all. I just don't know what's going on with this book. I feel like I am just not interested in what's happening. I feel like I'm zoning out all the time, which I think I mentioned previously, and I'm 45% of the way through this now, and I feel like I can't tell you anything about it. We have gotten to the start of the heist and a few characters have been introduced. I couldn't tell you their names. There seems to be a romance starting now, and I don't quite know how it's progressed to that part yet, and I don't know if it's just me, but yeah, it's just not doing anything for me. It may be the fact that I'm listening to it on audio, but I tend to really love audiobooks, and the narrator is doing a really good job, so I just don't know. But at the minute, it's a bit of a letdown. I couldn't tell you too much about it, and it still feels like I've got a long way to go in this book. I may try and listen to a bit more of it today, but we shall see, because I have meal prepped already, maybe whilst I'm making tea, but I think I'm only making a pasta bake today, so it won't take that long, so I might just watch a YouTube video for that. And even if I take Kiwi for a walk, I think I'm gonna go with my cousin, because we actually went to the beach yesterday. I will have included a few clips of that. We went first thing in the morning, and oh my gosh, you guys, it was just lovely. The dogs had a fantastic time playing. It was really quiet there, which was nice, and the weather was just stunning. When I first got into my car, it was completely frozen, but by the time I got to the beach, the sun was coming out and it was just beautiful, so that really helped me yesterday. And Kiwi was knackered, so we haven't really done much today yet, but I do think I'm going to take her for another walk with Adriana in a minute. Her dogs are called Flint and Mushu, by the way, which, yeah, that's just really cute. Anyway, back to my point, I don't think I can listen to an audiobook because I will be with her, obviously. Normally when I take Kiwi by myself, I will listen to something, but yeah, I can't do that today. So we'll see. I'm not in a massive rush to pick this one up. If anything, I will just continue to listen to it on my commute to and from work tomorrow and on my way to and from the gym. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not loving it. So we've got one book that I can't wait to read, and then we've got another book that I just don't care about, unfortunately. The timer has just gone off for my food though. I will show you guys what I've made once it's ready because it's a new recipe. It's a kind of pesto chicken tomato mozzarella situation. I don't know how to describe it, but I am going to see if that's ready, portion it up, and yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like. But for the rest of today, the plan is to focus on this one. I didn't know, but Tori is actually hosting Realmathon sprints later on, so I think I will join those and try and read a bit more. But yeah, loving this one. I knew I would, but I've just been so scared to pick it up, so I'm so glad that I finally did. And I will probably next update you once I finish this one now, because this has been a very long update, which I'm sorry about, but because I missed you guys yesterday, I just needed a bit of a catch up. So sorry for the negative energy at the start of the vlog, but yeah, I'm definitely feeling better now, which is great. For any of you that are curious, this is what I've been cooking. This should make 3 portions for me, and oh my gosh, if you could smell this, it smells absolutely amazing. So hopefully this is one that I enjoy because it was a really quick recipe. I will leave it linked down below for you guys. It was an Instagram reel that I saw it on, but yeah, it's basically got chicken, yogurt, pesto, tomatoes, peas and cheese. I think that's everything, but as I mentioned, I will leave it linked down below because look at this, you guys. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat this. I am waiting for Tori's sprints. Kiwi is over there. She is a sleepy baby today. Hopefully that is in focus. And I have read a tiny bit more of this book so far, but yeah, I'm very excited to read it on sprints. Right guys, I finally have some reading updates for you. I'm not gonna lie, it is currently Friday night, which means that I have been filming this vlog for a week now. It definitely wasn't the plan, but I have just been so tired this week. I am drained. It's why I look a bit of a state tonight, to be honest with you. But essentially my boss, who is my head teacher, has been ill all week with the flu, so that means that I have had to teach everyone in the school, so from reception up to year 6. In case you don't know, I do work in a small school in the middle of nowhere, and there are only 2 teachers. I teach reception up to year 3 and the headmistress teaches year 4 up to 6, and obviously with her being gone, it's all fallen on me. So yeah, I don't mind, but it takes enough brain power as it is to differentiate the work between reception to year 3, because that age range is about 4 to 8 years old, and so when you have years 4 to 6 in there as well, it goes from 8 to 11. It's definitely hard to keep them all entertained, to keep them all focused, and to make sure that you have differentiated the work enough for them. But it's the end of the week, we've made it. I was lucky enough actually that we had a lot of fun stuff to do this week. It was World Book Day yesterday, and I got to take the kids on a trip to the local library on Tuesday in preparation for World Book Day. That was lovely. I signed up, I got myself a library card finally, and yeah, I'm just really happy to have done so. The kids also loved the trip, which was just lovely to see. And then of course we celebrated World Book Day on Thursday, where they all dressed up. We talked about our favourite books, we made bunting, we made posters. It was just a really nice day. And it is also Mother's Day on Sunday, meaning that essentially today I just let them make Mother's Day cards and things like that. So whoa, Kiwi, it's been quite a nice day today, quite a chilled one to be honest with you guys, and I definitely need it because I will pop up a photo or a video of what we have been doing this week, and by we I mean myself and Tom. We have been at the house, we have been stripping wallpaper from the top of the landing, which was so difficult. That wallpaper was stuck on there so hard that we just could not get it off. On top of that, we had to balance the top of ladder with the steamer, and it was just stressful, but I'm so happy to say that we have finally finished. It looks really good, and we've also picked up a few of the downstairs tiles as well, so I feel like we've definitely made a lot of progress with the house. But the steamer needs to go back home to my mum's house this weekend, which is why we've had to do it in this kind of mad rush this week. So all of that to say, essentially that is why I haven't updated you. First off though, I do have a parcel to unbox with you guys. I was planning on just opening it, but I thought it would be fun to include it in a vlog. This is a pre-order. Of course I would fail at doing that. This is going to be really awkward now. Kiwi is definitely excited. She loves when I get these parcels because she likes to eat the cardboard. I do take it away from her, but you know, she likes to chew it a bit first. Oh wow, you guys, can you see? Can we let them see? Oh, she's being a menace. She's trying to eat it. Don't eat it. We have some stenciled edges on this book. Kiwi, oh my goodness, stop. So we have a violin in the middle there, and we have some musical notes. Thank you for finally letting me film that. But let's see what this book is. I wasn't expecting it to have such beautiful stenciled edges. Can you guys see what it is? It's a little sneak peek for you. This one is The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. In case you don't know, Catherine Arden is the author of the Bear and the Nightingale, or the Winter Night trilogy, and she is a very popular author. Now, I have read the Bear and the Nightingale recently. I did enjoy it. I didn't love it as much as everyone else did, but I loved the atmosphere in that book, and when I saw that this was being released, I did decide to pre-order it. Oh wow, look at the end pages here, you guys. Look how beautiful this is. This definitely has me even more excited about this, because I had no idea that they were going to go this hard with the customizations. Oh my goodness, we have this gorgeous foiling printed onto the book itself. It says, "And the stars of heaven fell to earth." Right, I need to know what this book is about, because I honestly can't remember, which is really bad of me, but I liked the synopsis enough the first time I read it to pre-order it. It is also signed, which is a very nice touch. It says, "In a world torn apart by war, a brother and sister fight to find each other. November 1917, Canadian soldier Freddie Ivan awakes after an explosion to find himself trapped under an overturned pillbox alongside an enemy soldier, a German. Against all odds, the two men form a bond and succeed in clawing their way out. But once in no man's land, they realise that there is nowhere they can go where they won't be shot as deserters. As the killing continues, they meet a man, a fiddler, who seems to have the power to make the hellscape that surrounds them disappear. But at what price?" January 1918, Laura Ivan travels to the forbidden zone of World War I in Belgium. She has volunteered as a nurse at a private hospital, but her real reason for being there is to find her brother Freddie, who is missing. Soon after arriving, she hears whispers about ghosts moving among those still living, and a strange man known as the Fiddler, whose music offers soldiers the gift of oblivion. Could Freddie have met him too, and if so, where is he? A novel of breathtaking scope and drama, of stunning research lightly worn, The Warm Hands of Ghosts is a book that will speak to readers directly about the trauma of war and the power of those involved to love, endure, and transcend it. That sounds phenomenal. I don't really read a lot of historical fiction, but I absolutely love the books that I do pick up from that genre. So this sounds like it should be right up my street. I love the fact that we have some sort of paranormal element to it as well. And as I mentioned, the atmosphere in The Bear and the Nightingale is just top notch. So if it's anything similar in this one, I know I'm going to love it. So all in all, I am definitely glad to have pre-ordered this one. Waterstones are just stepping up their special edition game at the minute, and I'm here for it. I'm hoping I can fit this onto a TBR pretty soon. It might not get on next month's TBR, but maybe I can read it in May. We shall see. It's definitely one that I'm excited for though, especially after rereading the synopsis. And as I mentioned, I'm just glad to own this beautiful edition now. Getting back to the point of this whole vlog though, which is to talk about the books that I'm reading for Realmathon. I'm so happy to say that I have finally finished The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, and I have given this one 4 stars. Now, I did first rate it 5 stars on Goodreads when I finished this, but after sitting on it for a while, I do think that it is closer to a 4. I really enjoyed this book. I don't know why it hasn't given me that 5-star feeling. I feel like at some parts it was hard for me to want to pick this book up for some reason, but then when I did pick it up, I tended to fly through it. This had such a good balance of violence, of the paranormal aspect to it, of the romance, of the family drama, and just everything was so well done, and it just kept me hooked the entire time. I will say I don't love how the ending of this played out, and that might be why I've knocked it down a star. The build up to it was so tense, and then I just feel like it kind of dipped a little bit towards the end for me, which is such a shame. Saying that though, I am desperate to dive into the second book, but I do want to read the novella before I do that. I do have both on my Kindle, so if I have time later on this month, I do want to dive in. You guys know me, I love to binge my series, otherwise I do tend to forget key details, so I am planning on prioritizing the novella and the second book in this series pretty soon. I am very happy that it is a duology, because it means that I can get caught up relatively quickly, and I can definitely see why people love this so much. I love the tournament element to it. It was very high stakes at all times. As I've mentioned previously, our character is a human in a world full of vampires, and previously she's managed to hide behind Vincent, who is her father. But in the Kajari, which is this competition, she is not able to hide behind anyone. She has to stand on her own 2 feet, and yeah, the trials in here are just horrible. They are brutal, and she is just an ordinary human. Of course, that isn't really the case here though. We see her develop as a character throughout this book. We see her having to make different strategic decisions that will help keep her alive, as well as allying with some vampires who ultimately will have to kill her. I really love that aspect of it. I loved seeing some of the vampires in here. We have 2 in particular who I'm not going to name because I don't want to spoil anything, but it definitely gives me that found family aspect of it, and seeing their relationship with each other because of past trauma that they've gone through and bonded over was just so lovely. I'm so glad that these 2 characters have each other, and yeah, there's one part in this book that I was getting really emotional at because something happens and it just hit me right in the feels. So I feel like I don't want to say too much, but I did really enjoy it. My bookmark is still in there, so I'm going to take that out. But yeah, definitely an enjoyable read. I can see why this is such a hyped book. Very excited to dive into the novella and the second book, and I'm really glad that this ended up being my first book for Realmathon. Now unfortunately I can't say the same for A Tempest of Tea. You guys could probably tell from the moment that I first updated you about this book, I just was not bothered by it at all. I did decide to listen to the audiobook. Maybe that was a mistake, I don't know. I don't really tend to have problems with audiobooks. I tend to be able to follow along with them pretty fine. But for this one, from the moment I started listening to it, I just was not engaged at all. I couldn't tell you a single thing about what went on in this book. There was one point where it got mildly interesting, but even then it didn't save the book at all for me, and it was pretty predictable. I just felt like I couldn't connect to the characters. I didn't care about what was going on. We do have the vampiric element to it, which was interesting, but again, I just wasn't drawn into this book at all. I haven't really looked at reviews. I know that it's had a lot of hype and I just don't get it. I don't know if it's a me thing, but I have picked up another audiobook since, which I'm not going to talk about in this vlog because I'm talking about too many books as it is, but I'm really enjoying that book and I've just fallen into it and have absorbed everything so far. So I do think that it's a problem with the book and not a problem with me per se. But yeah, I genuinely cannot talk about this book because I don't know what happened. I was debating DNFing it, but I wanted to get the points for Realmathon. But all I can tell you is that the main character is called Arthi. Other main character, I can't even remember his name. All I know is that he was in a fire when he was younger, and ever since then he is obviously scared of fire, and the both of them have kind of come together and have lived life as a family and have opened up a tea room, which is essentially a cover for their criminal underworld sort of work. That is literally all I can tell you. I don't know anything else. I don't care about anything else. I wish I did because I really did think I was going to enjoy this book, but I'm really glad that I didn't go ahead and buy it now. I was so tempted to. I went on Waterstones. I had gone to order it into store and I thought, you know what, wait until you finish it because you might not enjoy it, and I'm so glad I listened to past me. So unfortunately I did give that one 2 stars. I could honestly give it a 1, but I don't think I've ever rated a book 1 star. I either DNF them before it gets to that point or I read them and I can find something redeemable, but like I've said, I just could not get into it at all. Couldn't tell you anything about it, didn't care for the characters, and unfortunately even with the audiobook I just couldn't retain any of the information. So A Tempest of Tea is getting 2 stars from me. I may knock it down, we shall see. I haven't really seen any reviews for it since I have finished it, but I will definitely be keeping a lookout because I want to know, 1, why people love this so much, and 2, if people have had the same experience as I have and just have really not connected to it, because I feel like I'm in the minority here and it's not often that I really don't connect to a book like this. So yeah, it's definitely been a shame. I am gonna stop talking about it now because I feel like I'm just ranting and I'm not really getting to a point. But yeah, that's where we're up to with those 2 books, and then I have started my last book for this vlog, which is, let me just double check that I'm getting this name right because I feel like I always get it wrong. It is Blood and Steel by Helen Shura, which is the first book in the Legends of Thesma series. In this one we are following our main character Althea, who wants nothing more than to be a warrior of Thesma. However, 20-30 years ago there was a prophecy that came to light that essentially said if a woman were to wield a blade then darkness would come back into the land and the empire would fall. So ever since then women haven't been allowed to wield any weapons. They have been kicked out of the the Thesmarian army. I don't know if that's what it's called at all, but Thea doesn't let that stop her. She has been training in secret ever since she can remember, and she is going to try and get into the kind of military academy in any way possible. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but somehow she does manage this, but it's not as she thought it was going to be. She knew it was going to be difficult, but obviously being the first girl to join these warriors ranks in like 20 years is going to sow some seeds of discomfort. The guys there really don't want her there. They are trying to do everything in their power to make her life miserable so that she will quit, but she is so headstrong and determined that she is not going to do that. And it just says here, the sparring and hazing of the new trainees border on deadly, but even more dangerous is her growing attraction to Wilder Hawthorne, her unwilling warrior chaperone. All around them, schemes are afoot and darkness looms. Will Althea pass the perilous initiation test and take her place as a champion of Thesmar, or will the invading evil snatch away her dream before it starts? If you like fierce, sword-wielding heroines and brooding, tortured heroes, you will devour this sexy, addictive fantasy adventure. I can definitely attest to that. I am loving this book so far. I think I'm about 60% of the way through, to be honest with you guys. I have flown through this book. I feel like the writing is so addictive. It's such a fast-paced book, even though it's more character-driven than plot-driven at the minute. It's really interesting to see these characters interact, but to also focus on the kind of military aspect of it and the training aspect. There is also a family trope in here, which I just love, and it's genuinely the purest thing ever, and I just love all of these characters. We do also have a romance, which I am actually really loving, and I say actually because you guys know me, I tend to not enjoy romances too much in my books, but I feel like this one has done so well. We have tension between the two characters that is just so irritating, but I also love it. So we have the slow burn aspect to it, but it's also kind of enemies to lovers, but is it? And oh, I just love them so much. I love their dynamic. They bounce off of each other so well, and it's just really fun to read about them, to be honest with you guys, and I'm really enjoying seeing how their relationship is developing. There is also a sisterly relationship in here, which I definitely appreciate. I have a sister, and so I do love reading about that in books, and Ren is fantastic. She is basically an alchemist, and she is creating all of these different poisons to use in a war against this darkness that seems to be growing stronger, and she's just hilarious. I absolutely love her, and seeing her and Althea together just reminds me of me and my sister in a way, because they're so different but they're also the same at heart, and yeah, I just feel like my sister and I are both like that as well. So all in all, I'm really enjoying it. As I mentioned, I've flown through it, so I don't think it'll take me too long to finish it off. I will say I am going up to my mum's house this weekend because my mum is actually going away on a cruise next week. She is going to the Caribbean, which I'm so jealous about, but as I mentioned, it's Mother's Day this Sunday, then it's my mum's birthday on the 17th of March, which is also St. Patrick's Day, and it's my sister's 21st on the 22nd of March. However, my mum timed it poorly. She's going to be away for both of their birthdays, so we are celebrating this weekend instead. That means I have to travel up tomorrow, so I'm not sure if I will be able to update you guys before then. I doubt I will finish the book in the morning, because if I can, I would love to film 1 or 2 videos before going up there as well. I need to film my book haul, I need to film an unboxing of Your Paper Quest, and if I could film my February wrap up, that would really help me as well. But honestly, I feel like I'm being so ambitious. I feel like we're gonna have to leave here about 1:30, 2 o'clock, so we'll see, but that is the plan. I'm not sure if I'm gonna film anything. I would love to, but it's going to be a smaller kind of family gathering, and yeah, my family just wouldn't be comfortable being on camera, so I probably won't, but we'll see. I'll try and film some bits for you guys because I would love to document it. But I'm gonna end this clip here because I've been talking for way too long. I do apologise. I do this all the time. I should just update you guys when I can, but honestly, as I mentioned, I've just been knackered this week. You can tell by my voice, it's starting to go. But I'm very happy to say that I finished my first book of Realmathon, which is definitely a new favourite. I then finished a not so great book, which I'm still gutted about, and I'm currently reading my 3rd book, which I am absolutely loving. So all in all, it's not shaping up to be the worst reading week ever. I'm having a good time, as I mentioned, with my last book, and hopefully that continues on. But for now, I am going to leave you guys here. I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to sort myself out in the morning in order to go over to my mum's. You'll probably be happy to know that it's finally time to wrap up this vlog, and don't worry, I won't keep you for too much longer. I have sat down to edit this vlog up until this point, and I'm definitely shocked to see just how long it is. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet, but I have now finished Blood and Steel by Helen Shura. Shura, and guys, this is a 5-star book for me. This was fantastic. I flew through it. I was so invested in what was going on. I loved the characters and the drama between all of the characters as well. The relationships were some of the best, I think, that I've read in a while, in terms of both the platonic relationships, the familial relationships, and also the love interest in particular. It all just works so well, and I really did admire our main character, but not only our main character, I really like the support system that she has behind her, because even in her darkest moments and even when everything she has worked so hard for these last years seems unachievable, these people are still there urging her on, letting her know that she is just as capable of being a warrior of Thesma as anyone else. And yeah, it's just really lovely to see. I have now downloaded book 2 onto my Kindle and I have started reading it, guys. I'm not going to talk about it here, but I just could not resist. I feel like I would have been in a bit of a slump otherwise, so I've just gone straight into book 2 and I will probably talk about that in the next vlog. But yeah, all in all, absolutely loved Blood and Steel. The characters are definitely a highlight for me, but I did also really enjoy the plot. It's a very high stakes environment where tensions are constantly high. We have magic in there as well, and there is a threat to the realm because the Veil of Darkness has started tearing and creatures are coming into this realm and are trying to attack everyone else essentially. So there is a darker force at work. I feel like we're going to see that progress a lot more in book 2, but I'm so excited to see where the characters go from here. I am so invested in each and every single one of them, and also the side characters. As I mentioned, we had Ren earlier. We also have 2 of Thea's friends, Cal and Kip, I want to say. I feel like I'm just completely blanking at the minute, but hopefully I'm right there. We of course have the other war swords as well, who I'm interested in, and Malik in particular as well. So hopefully we see a lot more of them and get a bit more of their backstory and see more of them being thrown into this war, because I feel like everyone's going to have a significant part to play, and I feel like Thea's going to change the outcome of this war for so many people. Sorry about Kiwi's tail here, as she has been knocking my camera a few times, so I do apologise, but she's actually been to the vet tonight. We booked her in for her 6-month health check and we got in from work, took her straight away, and she's been a bit funny ever since because she hates the vets. She gets so anxious, but she was actually pretty good. She did hide under the chair as per usual, and she did hide behind me and Tom, but by the end she did let the vet give her a treat, which is definitely progress. So yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of tonight cuddling up to Kiwi, reading the 2nd book in the Legends of Thesma. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm just diving straight on in, you guys, and I'm honestly so excited. So all in all, I have had a very good reading week. I say week, we know now it's been over a week, but we're not going to talk about that. I of course finished Serpent and the Wings of Night, which I gave 4 stars, I think. I'm still not 100% sure on my rating on that just yet. We had A Tempest of Tea, which was unfortunately my lowest rated book of the year so far, coming in with a 2-star rating, and we have finished the vlog off on such a high with Blood and Steel, which I have rated 5 stars. I know this vlog's been a long one. Thank you so much for being so patient with me. I will try and shorten the next vlog. I feel like now that I've gotten into the swing of filming again, hopefully that will be a lot more manageable. But yeah, this week's just been crazy, as I've mentioned. We've had a lot of things that have required our full attention, meaning that I haven't really been wanting to or been able to sit down and film some updates for you guys. So yes, thank you so much for sticking with us. If you have made it this far through into the video and would like to let me know that you're still here, please go ahead and leave me the double sword emoji. It's like a cross swords. I feel like that will represent Blood and Steel very well and will just sum up the video perfectly. I know I say it all the time, but seeing you guys comment the emoji of the video truly does mean the world to me. It blows me away that you guys watch these all the way through, especially a vlog as long as this one. It truly is appreciated though. It means the world to me, and I honestly just can't thank you guys enough. On that note though, I am going to close out this video here. I hope you guys have had a successful reading month so far, and if you're participating in Realmathon, let me know which team you've pledged yourself to, and let me know how many books you've managed to read so far as well. But that is it for me today, guys. Please don't forget to click the like button if you like this video and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content from me. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you soon in my next video. Goodbye!